Have you ever wondered if you have a 3-up Seadoo Spark, can it be converted to a 2-up Spark? And if you have a 2-up Spark, can it be converted to a 3-up? Well, today we're going to be converting our 3-up to a 2-up. So you know what to do, hit the subscribe button, let's get into the video. So we've got the 3-up configuration, so it allows me and Megs to go riding effortlessly as a 2-up. It gives you the longer seat and it gives you the rear deck. Now the rear deck gives you more buoyancy for 2 passengers. In my opinion, if you're on the fence between a 3-up and a 2-up, I'd say just go for the 3-up. The 3-up is going to give you the longer seat and the rear platform. And as you're about to see, the rear platform's easy to remove with a few bolts, but you will always have the longer seat. Now you can fit the longer seat after the fact. There's a bracket under here, which obviously gives you the longer seat. But in reality, a longer seat is just beneficial whether you're riding a 2-up or a 3-up. It allows you to stand on the rear platform here, get all of your weight to the back of the ski, get that nose even higher. The wedges are great, obviously on the Trixx, but the seat is the secret sauce. So always leave the 3-up seat on and just go between removing the rear platform. Plus, once you've done that 2-up conversion, you're gonna have the longer seat. So if you do have a passenger, they can slide all the way back and you still have that extra room, which you wouldn't have if you had a 2-up seat. It's always been the plan to remove the rear deck because apparently it really affects the riding characteristics and turns this thing into a much more playful experience. So I'm super excited. So right off the back of being out on the 2-up, the new 2-up, it's definitely closer, the characteristics, to what I would say is like one of the holy grails from the 90s. You know, it turns on a dime, super playful, super tippy, real connection to the water. So in order to convert your 3-up to a 2-up, you're going to want to order these. Now these were kindly gifted to me by Thorpe Bay Marine. Thorpe Bay Marine have been around for 45 years. They're a reputable Seadoo dealer. They know their stuff, guys. And the main thing for me, Andy and Clive, really approachable, really nice. Go show them some love because they're supporting the channel. Andy and Clive, who are the dad and son, it's a family-run business, are a really friendly bunch. Honestly, when I reached out to Clive, I've been speaking to him over Instagram for a little while, they're just really friendly. And when you speak to a dealer, that's what you want, right? Yeah, obviously you want them to have the expertise, but you want to be able to reach out to them and have that sense of, you know, if I need assistance, they're gonna be there. And in this instance, they were really keen to support the channel, support this video, and show you guys the conversion, because online there's not actually a ton of info out there. So in this box of goodies, what we have, not the paper, we have the bumpers themselves, which are gonna replace when your 3-up platform comes off. You obviously need one of those for either side, like so. And the bit to sort of finish it off is the IBR guard. Now the really exciting thing for me about this conversion is because the 3-up obviously starts with way more bolts than what you would need on 2-up, you don't actually need to order any bolts, or in this instance Clive didn't need to send me any bolts, but the point is you can essentially buy these parts and fit them using your existing bolts. Now obviously if you're going from a 2-up to a 3-up, you are going to need to buy more bolts because ultimately the 3-up platform has some additional fixings which aren't there on the 2-up. So obviously this platform will be gone, and this will be able to sit in over the top of your IBR, and it obviously stops you hitting your leg on the top of the IBR. Now you don't need to refit this, but I obviously want it to all be as it should be. And then obviously if you put the 3-up back on, you will obviously have to take this off. It uses the exact same bolt holes as what you have underneath there. It's 2, which I'm going to show you in a sec. So before I do anything, guys, with this being a roller trailer and the rear rollers being basically very close, the front ones are okay, but the back ones are actually starting to touch the rear up platform. Now, I can affect this by pushing it forward onto the actual front winch post, but in reality, I like the way it sits. So the easiest thing to do is to adjust what's called the rear cross member. That's the rear bar. Slide that forward slightly. Now, that's one of the reasons why I exclusively use Extreme trailers, because they use the U-bolt design versus a welded construction. I can essentially loosen these off, obviously support the back of the Spark, loosen these off, and then I can actually push this whole bar, including the assembly, forward slightly. So when we take off the 3-up platform, are you still following? When I remove the 3-up platform, obviously the roller will be sat where I want it to sit, at the back of where the 2-up end of the Spark will be, if that makes sense. The great thing about Extreme is because it's all modular, literally every U-bolt you can loosen off and change. So if you didn't want to do it the way that I was going to do it at the back by basically pushing the actual cross member forward, you could move your winch post this side, you could slide your kiln roller, you could slide your middle axle, but just be mindful that everything you do to a trailer has an effect. So for example, if I move the winch post here, naturally the center of gravity of the ski is going to have to push backwards, so you're naturally going to want to move your axle as well. So for me, because I know I've got this set up at the perfect distance, distance. My drawbar I like actually pulled in because it helps with the space in the garage versus having it fully extended out. Now there are pros and cons to that. Obviously, if you're launching into a slipway where you basically want to get your car as far away from the water as you can, then it's good to have a longer drawbar, but for me, space is obviously at a priority. So I like to keep my winch post basically right in the middle of this V, if you like, and then I like to do all of my adjustments at the rear of the ski. But guys, have a play around with it. That's the great thing about modular design. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead, get the Spark trailer adjusted, and then we'll do the free up platform. But first, you guys have been asking me a lot, and it's only fitting to bring you this way. Come this way, come see the GSX, Megs. If we look in the front box, what might we have in there? Ta-da! You guys have been asking for this for a while. It's official, guys. You can rep a cap, if you like caps, or a t-shirt, and there will be hoodies coming. And you can be part of the OG club. There's gonna be limited numbers on these t-shirt, guys, so there's not gonna be tons and tons. I wanna make it special, I wanna make it meaningful. Anyone that's followed the channel from the beginning, and obviously anyone new can buy this, you don't have to have been here from the start, but it's all around the OG club. There will be other cool merch coming. I've done some really cool XP stuff, SP stuff, GSX stuff, lots of stuff, but the original range is gonna be this, and it'll be limited numbers. So obviously hit the subscribe button, go over to my website, have a look at it, and if you're interested, hit the pre-order because it will be going live, and like I said, there'll be limited numbers. So let's get this adjusted and let's get this platform changed. So I've put the trailer at its lowest point, so naturally this ski, if it's going to go anywhere, it's going to run that way. So when I start loosening the U-bolts at the back, I'm not worried that the ski is going to obviously slide off the back. I will put something there to support the back, and then obviously I can push the whole cross member forward. So now the rollers have been moved forward. As you can see, the roller is now sitting exactly where I want it once the free up platform's gone. Now in order to remove the platform, you're gonna have to remove 17 T30 Torque screws or M6s. Now there's two different styles, which makes things slightly confusing. There's 8 of one style torque screw, and they are the ones that are essentially holding the platform to the ski. There's 3 that side, 2 in the middle, and 3 the other side. The 2 in the middle are the ones that we're actually going to reuse for the IBR guard, and then the 9 that I referenced are the different style heads. They're the one that are actually holding this clamshell together. So think about it this way. There's 8 that essentially hold it to the ski chassis itself, and then the 9 are the ones that are actually holding this clamshell together. So once we release those ones, we'll be able to take the top platform apart. I missed 2 T30s and they're hid right up underneath there. Everything's loose and ready to come, but this middle bit, and with any of this sort of stuff, guys, if something doesn't feel like it's coming, don't try and pull it and snap it, because I know there is some little basically clip-in pieces underneath here. I'm not exactly sure where they are, but always double check. See, there's 2 more T30s under there. Okay, so I lied, guys. there's actually 2 more Torx screws, which makes sense. And to be honest, I intentionally left these ones here. There's 2 this side and there's 2 this side, which, to be fair, my recommendation now, having done it, which is the way with all this stuff, is to leave those ones in, because obviously there's no support there. One thing I have noticed, okay, so this is obviously the polystyrene inside, which you will need to get if you're buying the 3-up to convert your 2-up. Look at this sand, guys. That is a design flaw. I wash my skis as diligently as anyone, but just look at that. This is another reason why you would want to put the bumpers on, okay? I'm gonna clean this, obviously. It's not my speed to just put the bumpers over the top. I'll clean it as best I can, but the likelihood is that's probably gonna be faded, I would have thought. But yeah, you'll need all of this polystyrene that I'll show you properly in a sec now. I'm just gonna remove those other 4 Torx screws. But look at this. This has always annoyed me with the, you know, Megs, when we always have the sand that flows through here, it just goes down into there and there's no way of getting it out. So those remaining 4, I'll get my extension bar actually. So obviously it goes without saying you need a torque adapter, but having an extension bar will allow you to get into the recess. So obviously you're going to need one of those, because some of these have a channel that go all the way to them. So it makes it quite tricky. So that there is the exact same length, which is, to be fair, is quite good. But yeah, the ones that actually hold the top deck to the bottom deck are a different style, and they've actually corroded. So these look like they're black anodized. So yeah, as I suspected, it's not immediately falling away, but I would, Megan's filming, so she can't actually hold, so she would normally hold, but maybe have a partner on hand. So yeah, I'm trying to just keep the pressure on it in the moment in the middle. It doesn't immediately fall like it's gonna, up we get quickly. And that should fall away a bit more aggressively than I would have probably liked. And this is the first time that I've seen the IBR exposed like that. It's always been fascinating to me on the 2-ups that this looks like it's so protrudes so far. And obviously the IBR guard, I'll grab that quickly. My God, that needs a serious clean. Thank God the new parts are nice and shiny and clean, hey? So that part there actually goes in that recess like that. How far back? Yeah, so it only goes that far. So to be fair, it's a little bit pathetic in the sense that I guess it's just stopping you getting your hand in there and all of that sort of stuff. So this is one of the first areas where you'll actually notice. So that has 2 positioning hex screws there, but I've noticed those 2 there. So I'll have to double check that, because obviously I'm not going to screw into the actual polytack. That's something I won't want to do. So we have to see whether that's secure enough without those 2 in there. Might have to put some sort of bond or something between there. Like I said, guys, you don't have to run this part. It is obviously the good thing to have it there, but I'm definitely not going to drill the 2 holes in there. I guess if you wanted to, you could, and use 2 Torx screws. But I guess one of the good things about taking the 3-up off is it gives you a chance to clean it. Well, I cannot believe how filthy that is. It's embarrassing. I wonder if you can put the rear boarding step back on. It looks as if the holes are there. That sand is gone like, yeah, but it's like paste too. How many, let's have a look how many screws are, oh, water. Oh my God, that's only held on by 2 Torx screws there, which is crazy for the amount of pressure. See the top 2? There's none in the top 2. I think there's a lug probably that actually holds it up in place. Okay guys, I'm gonna give this a little clean. I think we need a little dustpan for that. And then we can start putting on the bumper guards, the IBR guard, and we have a 2-up. That is odd, very odd looking at it. As you can see, if we wouldn't have moved these forward, this would be somewhere here. So what could potentially end up happening is your ski, if it were to slide forward, could fall into the valley of the roller. Now, the reality is, most people run bunks on Sparks. I've got a roller just because rollers are easier, and you can obviously have color-coded stuff, but in reality, it's more of an aesthetic consideration for a Spark. If you've got something like an RXT or an RXP, go for rollers because they're so heavy, but if it's anything old, honestly, I'd probably say bunks are the way to go. I have wrapped bunks in different colored carpets before. One of the reasons why we're working on space at the moment in the garage, guys, so we're converting the back room, which there'll be a separate video going on. So there's always a little bit of this going on, which is, can you do the shuffle? Yeah, it's always a little bit tight for space. So, good old dustpan. That is mad. anyone that follows the channel knows that I'm a bit OCD with things. So that for me is like, this bit isn't, so that stays. So we're gonna have to try and do our magic with getting that shined back up. I mean, Polytech is one of those things. I'm going to make a dedicated video on Polytech, how you keep it nice. I'll show you some of the products briefly now, because obviously this could do with a legit actual clean, to be fair, but we'll see how we get on. So chemical, guys, invisible cleaner. That's a good cleaner if you're not going to go full hog. Sorry, Max. If you're not going to go full hog and actually do like a full clean, put lots of it on liberally so that minimizing scratching. Nice clean microfiber. Just carefully, don't aggressively rub, because obviously we've got sand on there. I mean, look, you can see. So what we can see here, if you wasn't going to put the bumpers back on, see how that's been rubbing? So that would just bug me. If I wasn't going to put the bumpers back on, that would that'd keep me awake at night. Yeah, it's coming up nice, which is good, because obviously all of this in a sec. To be fair, even that's not coming up bad. So we can see little things like that. So that sticker, we'll get a new sticker for there, because where that's been pushing against there, that's actually...
Oh, nice sticker there.
Yes, coming soon, along with some merch. What that needs is a detail brush. Detailed brushes are just a nice little tool. It's just turned into a bit of a detailing video, isn't it? But I guess it's going to help you guys if you take your free up platform off and it's filthy like mine. So what I like to do with this, get the end of the brush nice and dosed up and just get in there. Look at that, there we go. And then each of those. What should we? Do you think some people would just put that on straight away without cleaning it? Is that just my OCD? Criminal, surely not. Bit more cleaner. Yeah, that's gonna give a little mark there. So what we'll have to use is some basically plastic restorer for those areas which will still be visible. Which is not end of the world. The Spark, after all, is a ski that you're not able to cut it back in the same way that you could cut back a gel coat ski. That's one negative with gel coat. So obviously the plastic's great because it's modular, but if you end up being in a position where you have that, that's going to be exposed. So the bumper's going to go into that little channel there, but that will be left. So what we'll use is some basically black restorer to mask it as best as we can. And then these is actually coming up to 8:30, nearly 9 o'clock here in the UK. And normally I'd get the compressor out, blow in there, and that'll get that out in 2 seconds. But do you think that's acceptable? Megan's nodding, or is that a no? Is that no, Joe? So I have to do it like a peasant, which is humbling. That's the top bit and the channel all done. Now it's just this. Now guys, I don't advocate for not doing correct contact washes, but this late at night, when we got a trip in a day, I will give you a pass. Quite good, this invisible cleaner, I must say. I've heard a lot of good stuff about chemical guys. I don't know if I'd use chemical guys on gel coat, but with plastic, I think it's okay. That is filthy. With all this stuff, guys, just keep changing your cloth. So cool to see it as a 2-up though, finally, Megs, because when we were in the process of picking whether we were gonna buy a 3-up or a 2-up, I always looked at the 2-up and I was kind of like, oh, it looks nicer, but the practicality of basically, get a clean one for that. The practicality of the 3-up basically outweighed the aesthetic consideration of me wanting it. And at the time, I was like narcissistically thinking, I'm going to demonstrate to everyone that you can do all the tricks and do everything as good on a 3-up as you can on a 2-up. And you can do it all still. But I think for sure the research and the evidence is there to say that, you know, if you have a 2-up, you're just going to be able to wheelie it more efficiently. You're going to be able to spin it more efficiently. So I'm really excited for that. It's looking good now. It's the other side, and then we can get the parts on. So what do you think then, Megs? Have you, let's give the mic to Megs.
I'm excited to see what it can do. I think it will give you more in terms of being able to do tricks and wheelies and things like that. But I also feel like I feel like me and you can handle this one. We've handled 2 strokes. And realistically, like you said, having that long seat is going to be really helpful. If I'm honest, guys, looking at this seat now, I sit like halfway. I don't even use the back piece very much because me and Joe are one of those riders together where we like to actually like really hug in. So we're there together. Joe would hate it. When we went on his dad's ski, I had to sit kind of behind the bump, Joe, didn't I? And you didn't like that you couldn't feel me right behind you. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just hoping it won't be too tippy. Joe says it will be. I have a feeling it won't be as tippy as like a 95 though. Definitely won't be as tippy as a HX. I'm thinking it's going to be the same kind of feeling as a GSX. But no, I'm excited. It looks really nice. It's all clean now as well. So yeah, just the parts. Hopefully, that was super simple as well.
So that's the cleaning done, and I'm going to give you one secret ingredient, secret sauce. Guys ask me all the time, because obviously we're not going to be able to access some of this stuff once the bumper's gone. Obviously I could take it off again. This stuff is a ceramic, plastic and tire gel. Now this stuff, when you put it on, is really, really hard to remove. So basically you get these little foam applicators. Don't spray it on the ski so you don't get overspray. It's a bit of a vile colour. When you pop this on, you should hopefully see it immediately, but it basically immediately gives the actual substrate a real like permanent. And Megs, how permanent is this? I've actually had this on, and Megs has said sometimes like, Jesus.
Is this the stuff you put when it's really slippy?
Yeah, don't put this anywhere near the footwell. Sometimes I put it like along the sides, and I've got a bit.
You said to me, I'm slipping everywhere.
But it's quite good. I mean, if you look there, but because I won't be able to get into that gap after, it's going to help mask some of that. These are the little things that you only really find out once you start doing like this conversion. Obviously, if you had it from factory, you're not going to have that mark because it's just going to be a 2-up. So the 3-up seat's really clever. This here and the piece in front of it is actually an extension which allows you to put the longer seat on. So there you go. Let's improve that. Let's put a bumper on. As I said at the start of this video, you can see how that perfectly sort of lines up. So yeah, exactly as I suspected. I don't know why, I just had that in my head, Megs, that there might be a shadow gap there, the tolerance between the two. I'm pushing hard enough. But because that's why I put that product in there, because I knew, right, so let's offer up a screw, a hex screw. I need to wipe some slime off my hands. This is one of the reasons, guys, why you don't put this in your footwells. Because if I was wave jumping right now, I'd be struggling to cling on. If you ever need to get rid of that product, this is a great product to remove it. Tire remover just gets rid of everything. It's amazing. So you can see with that one there, right, why they've not, oh yeah, it's a tiny bit longer.
Do you feel it going into me there?
Don't put them all the way tight until you've obviously got them all in, guys. It's a case of remembering exactly which ones went where. So I need to actually go back and see where they went. So I'm just going back and watching which ones go where. So we actually have one at the front, which is that one. And the next one available is the next one. The longer ones that have started to rust have got a slightly longer length on them. Come on, get in there. Switch. Sometimes you can't beat an old-fashioned screwdriver. Okay, so on this one, obviously, there's more torque screws because there's more holes holding the bumper on, whereas I think due to the strength probably needed to hold that clamshell together, you've got the other style. Come on, get in there, son. Trying to line it up. Switch back to ratchet. So that's where a ratchet's beneficial to obviously get more torque. Oh, that feels nice. Got a lot of slime on my hands. So they're all the holes that are available on the bumper. It's just a flattering angle that we now have in. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. So let's put the other side on. Hopefully it slides on like butter. Ugh. Wow, that one went on a bit easier. Almost too easy. Can you put a hand there, Meggie? We're trialing an iPhone at the moment, so half of this video, for any eagle-eyed tech people that watch the video, is our mirrorless 5K, and then it drops to 4K. Put a comment below if you can see when it actually gets to 4K. Do you think it'll be obvious, Meggie? Did you just pull that off? You trying to sabotage me? I saw you. I think we made it too slimy, don't you? We made it so slimy. Lubrication's a good thing, right? I keep taking that one off and then realizing, Joe, that's the one you need. Right, that's 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on the other side. So now it's time for the IBR. Don't know why I said that in a weird accent. So as I said earlier on, this only has 2 available holes, which we have from the previous setup. So those 2 available holes will actually go under there like that. So what I'm gonna do is with some of our black marine silt, just put a little tab under each of those, just because I'd hate for that to flex with all the pressure of the water. Maybe I'll reach out to Clive from Thorpe Bay Marine to ask his advice, whether he advises to drill it. Just drilling it is not something that I would probably want to do, if I'm completely honest. Right, let's grab a mastic gun. The only reason I feel confident using this is I've used it in other marine-based applications. It's very, very salt resistant, which is obviously a big deal, because if this is going into marine usage, then we don't obviously want it to not be fit for purpose. And it's black. I've got it in clear and white as well, but you don't really want to be putting white. Clear would be okay, I guess, but black's probably best. I mean, look at what from factory. Look how messy that is. We're gonna do a better job than that. So offer this up, so you know it's bang on in the right place. And obviously you don't want a ton of this, just a little dollop. Oh, that's a nice sensation, that squidgy feeling, isn't it? You can feel it squidging. Squidge, squidge, squidge. Oh, that's a good start. We'll have to find that one in a minute. Some people are probably watching that thinking, oh, he's going to leave a screw in the IBR and it's going to go. Yeah, off camera, Megan will be getting that. I might have to cut there, and Megan might have to hold. Oh, no, I got it. So in the time that I've done those 2, I could just feel that grab adhesive is just so bloody strong. So that's why you want to make sure that you put it on before, because some people might think, oh, I'll pump some in after, but I know that that's behind there. Now guys, you could obviously screw into there, do a little pilot hole, I guess, and do it, but for me, I'd rather not. So that's now in, which is good. So guys, we're at Tattershall Lake for a 2nd year running, but this year we're a 2-up, and you've just watched me transform it, so it's the most fitting way to show you guys how it performs. Now you've seen lots of me on a 3-up, the 3-up version of this, when it was a 3-up. It's now a 2-up, and we have the XP here today. So what you're gonna see in this video is how this looks characteristic-wise compared to the best in class from 90s, what we're all about. And obviously it will show if I've wasted my time or if it's been a good change. I'm hoping it's been a good change. I'm gonna get rid of the mic because I'm gonna end up drenched. But everyone who put in the comments on my first Spark video, oh, it's not a fair comparison. This is now a fair comparison, guys. So if I find this as good as that, then I'll be honest and say,